Hey guys, Sam here, and we're doing something a little bit different today because we're talking about this. It is a CRF 450, but not one you would buy straight from the showroom floor. It is a Fink-ready machine. It's actually the bike being ridden by Brodie Waters at the 2025 Tats Fink Desert Race, and we're going to be doing a bit of a walk around today just to see how different this bike is compared to the one on the showroom floor. But what is better than me talking about it is the guy himself, so I'll bring him in. Hello Brodie, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, going good, thank you. Now you have done this race since what, 2018?
2018 was my first one, and yeah, so then we obviously missed the COVID year, so this is my sixth Fink.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we can get up on the podium.
You guys do Hattah, you do Kalgoorlie, you go around the country. What's different about Fink? What's difficult about it as a rider?
It's just the amount that changes. This is a mentally tough race for the bike riders to stay focused the whole 250 or 235 Ks. Whereas Hattah we pass more riders, so it's easier to stay more focused, whereas here's really mentally tough to stay on top of everything.
If you haven't seen highlights of Fink, do yourself a favour, just take a look at any YouTube reel because it is incredible the speeds these guys get up to. So it's basically a 224 kilometre race from Alice Springs down to the remote Indigenous community of Apatula or Fink, and then on the Monday morning they come back again. So Brodie, tell me a bit about your bike. It starts life as a basic CRF 450 motocross bike, and then what happens after that?
Yeah, so just like any normal CRF 450R that you buy from the local dealer, and then we go and add the Desert Pacific stuff. Like a lot of us now run the foam hand grips to stop getting blisters down the track. We run a Scott steering dampener. I run a different handlebar setup to a lot of riders do. It's all full rubberized mounted handlebar system, so it takes any vibrations and some harsh hits out.
So the kickback you might get from a motocross bike, it's sort of dampened by this?
Dampened by that.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's just all to save the hands, so then we've got good hands left for coming home on Monday.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I run the IMS tank on it, which is not an aftermarket tank, and then we all add the steg pegs, so there for when we go through the whoops we can lock our legs in.
Yep.
And take some of the pressure off our arms, so we just lock in and
So
hold on tight with them at the back of the boot.
And so your knee is kind of here and you're resting on that
It's
the
the
whole time?
back of my leg, so back there, and then we all now put kids' soccer shin pads in the back of our boots because we lean on them so much that if we don't, we get blisters on the back of our legs.
Okay.
By the time we get to Fink.
Yep, okay. Wow.
But yeah, and then we all go and change the suspension. I run these are the ones that you buy in the Works Edition Honda 450, the forks, but then we just revalve them. My guy does them JVR suspension, he revalves.
Okay.
Just to make them a little bit plusher. The motocross guys run their bikes quite stiff, and for the desert we want them quite soft to absorb all the bumps at the high speed. And then we just put some aftermarket wheels in it just for extra strength, as we're hitting some big square edges down there, so we want good quality wheels in them to keep them going around. And then the biggest difference really from the motocross is the size sprockets we run here in the desert. For an example, like a CRF 450 comes out with 1350 on it. We run 1441, which is quite taller gearing for high speed. So this will do 175 to 178.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're really the main differences that we run for the desert.
Okay. What about tyre compounds? Because this looks a lot different from an ordinary motocross
The tyre is a Michelin Desert rear tyre, so we all use them. They're a really hard carcass, and if we do get a flat tyre, you can keep going down the track at a decent speed without the tyre falling off the rim.
Okay.
Yeah, they're we really only use them at Fink. Kalgoorlie we go back to a normal motocross tyre, but yeah, just at Fink we use Michelin Desert rear tyres.
Right. And I was curious about these wheel weights here. Can you tell me a bit about those?
I use the wheel weights on the spokes just to help balance the rear wheel. Just because on the hard flat straights, if you don't, the rear wheel can get a vibration no different to your street car driving down the road that vibrates in your hand. So I do that. not all riders do it, but yeah, it's a personal preference sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Obviously with so much top end speed, you mentioned the gearing is a little bit different. What about the engine? What do you do there to kind of beef it up so it's ready?
Yeah, we do a little bit of engine work, so mainly just flow the cylinder head and then just tune it, and it's got a few other little bits and pieces done to it, but nothing too crazy, because they still need to make it there and back, and this race is quite demanding and it's quite hard on the equipment, so we don't want to go all out for just outright power and then not make it there.
Yeah, okay. It is quite remarkable. So basically, you've got those components on it, but the bike's chassis, its wheelbase, all the rest is stock.
All stock, so even like the rear shock, it's 100% standard, just the shims inside it are all just changed to what I like. And yeah, it is quite basic.
Yeah.
There's not a whole heap of different things. Years ago we used to change more, but the bikes have come along a long way that we don't really need to go and reinvent the wheel now.
Yeah, even the fact you can use a Works Edition fork without having to go A-kit or cartridges or all that sort of stuff is quite good.
And that's the difference of those forks are unbelievable for up here. And it's good that we don't have to go and buy the A-kit fork that's worth $10,000.
Yeah.
You know, we can get away with the cheaper ones and it still works really good.
Yeah, quite interesting to see. Look, I really appreciate the insight. It's fascinating because these bikes are, in effect, they're developed as motocross and supercross bikes. It sort of does show off the breadth of this platform, doesn't it?
It's quite good. Like, a lot of the riders, obviously, KTM come in for a few years and they took over, and now the Japanese manufacturers have come back and they've fought back quite strong in the last few years, and they've developed a really good base package that works, as you say, for supercross, motocross, and the enduro and desert stuff now as well. It's a really good base platform that we've got to start with.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, we are filming this on the eve of race day 1 here at Finke, so we'll probably come out after the completion of the race, so keep an eye out on how Brodie goes. But mate, all the best, and thank you for giving us a look at your bike.
Thank you.
Good stuff, thank you.
2025 was a successful weekend for Brodie, but it didn't come without its challenges. The Mildura rider prologued strongly on Friday, setting off from Alice Springs in 3rd place on race day 1. He had a clean run to Apatula, or Finke, landing 2nd spot outright on leg 1. On the return journey, Brodie held on to 2nd outright until about the halfway point when he struck a rock and was thrown from the bike. With a broken front master cylinder and a battered body, he nursed the CRF 450 for the final 140 Ks to Alice Springs, finishing somehow 1st in class and 3rd outright. Not bad at all for a father of 3.